Okay, so now I'm recording on Zoom. And if I go back and look at my Facebook, yeah, so now I can see myself on Facebook Live and I can see the comments as well. And I'm curious, George, when you look at your Facebook Live, do you see subtitles or no? Do you see subtitles, George?
I don't see your Facebook Live yet.
Oh, because Lorraine has it up. She says it sounds good, and Lorraine can see me, right, Lorraine?
Yeah. But where do I get in?
I don't know. So on
oh, here it comes.
Oh, did it just
now I see it.
You see it?
Yeah.
What did you have? What were you not seeing?
I just had the purple nose before. Now I've got it.
Did you have to refresh maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe it just refreshed.
I've got them both on now, so I got to turn off the volume.
Right. Turn the volume off on one of them. So Lorraine, that's great. Thank you, Lorraine. This is good. Just testing this out here. All right. So George, I'm going to leave you on my phone on speaker just in case you have to interrupt me for any reason. But there's no reason for you to talk unless you have something to add or interrupt me because it's a tech issue. Okay. So Lorraine says no subtitles. Okay. Thank you, Lorraine. Yeah. See, I must have subtitles turned on mine or something because I'm seeing subtitles of myself talking underneath myself. Okay, good. Great. So great to have everybody on, whoever's joining now for this Facebook Live we're doing now. And I just kind of spontaneously did this Facebook Live thing just to give you an update of what's going on in my life lately with regards to some events that I'm going to be hosting and speaking at, etc. But primarily, I was also doing this. Hey, Sai, good to see you. I was doing this because I'm testing out doing this on Zoom and on Facebook Live at the same time. So literally right now, for those of you who have my meditation Zoom link, you know what I'm talking about, my meditation or my Afterlife Series Zoom link. You could use that link right now and you'd see me on Zoom. Some of you are here on Facebook Live with me. So I'm testing this out because I've never done this, you know, exactly at the same time on Zoom and Facebook Live before. So figured out how to do that. By the way, if anybody wants to do that, it's really, really easy. You don't even have to go on Facebook and monkey around with settings and so forth, like I guess you used to. But all I did was I YouTubed it and I found a YouTube guy and it literally took me about 30 seconds to do it. You just go into your Zoom settings in meetings, etc. And you just click live stream. You scroll way down near the bottom of that page. And it just says live stream and that's it. And then when you go on Zoom, you go on more on the more button on the bottom of your, the Zoom meeting, and you click more and it says, do you want to live stream? And you click yes, and you can click whichever live stream modality you want. So obviously I click Facebook. So here we are. So the reason I wanted to test this out with you today is because I'm speaking at 2 libraries coming up. One time this coming Saturday on September 30th in Barnstable, Massachusetts on Cape Cod. And then again the following Tuesday, so that's October 3rd at 7 p.m. So Saturday is going to be at 10:30 a.m. If anybody's local in Cape Cod area, you can feel free to call the Sturgis Library. In the description on the Facebook Live anyway, I put the the names of the libraries. Sturgis, Sturgis. If you're in the Cape Cod or Massachusetts area, and you want to attend that talk that I'm doing this Saturday, September 30th at 10:30 a.m., just call the library and make a reservation. But I'm going to do this Zoom and Facebook Live for people who cannot be there in person. So those of you who are interested in hearing my talk this Saturday, even if you're in Alaska or Germany or Norway or Texas or in the Philippines, I have students, as you guys probably know, in 64 countries, then write these little notes down to yourself about these two libraries, and you can on that particular time and date, and you can either join the Zoom link that I'll put up. I'm going to send it out to my email list. If you're on my email list, you'll get it before this Saturday, or if you can just join on Facebook Live here. Either way. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world, obviously. I'm going to live stream my talks, and I have, I can't remember if there's 10 or 20 people coming so far to the Cape Cod Library in Barnstable, Massachusetts, but there's over 60 people who've registered for the Norwood, Massachusetts Library talk I'm giving on October 3rd at 7 p.m. Eastern time, obviously. And there's only 60 seats. So that library talk has been full for about 10 days or a couple of weeks. It's been full. All 60 seats have been reserved, and they have a waiting list to go to because evidently they do a follow-up call with the registrants to make sure the day before that they actually are showing up. And if they're not, then they go to the wait list. So if you were not able to register for the Norwood Library because it was already full, you can call them and ask to be put on the waiting list. So the Norwood Library's name is called the Morrill Memorial Library in Norwood, Massachusetts, Morrill, Morrill Memorial Library. And again, that's Tuesday, October 3rd at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And again, for those of you on Facebook Live, it's in the description of this Facebook Live right now. The Sturgis Library is Sturgis. It's in Barnstable, Mass. That'll be this coming Saturday, September 30th at 10:30 in the morning Eastern time. It's the oldest library in the United States. So interesting thing about that library, it literally is the oldest library in the United States. It's the, I think it was 1644, if I remember from the Wikipedia. You can Wikipedia this yourself, but I'm remembering this Wikipedia website about the library. 1644, I believe. It's the oldest public library in the United States, and it started out as, I can't remember the reverend's name, but it was a reverend, a minister of the local church in Barnstable, Massachusetts on Cape Cod, started a public library in his house. So that house from mid-1600s is where I'm going to be speaking from. So if only you're curious about what the first library in the public library in the United States looks like, you may want to join just for that curiosity's sake. What I'm going to be talking about at these two talks is similar but a little bit different. So on Saturday at the Sturgis Library on Cape Cod, the librarian wanted me to talk about all of my books, all three of my books. So you guys know my three books, I think. You know, well, here you go. You got the Overcoming the Fear of Death book, which is a non-religious approach to helping people overcome their fears about death and dying. And by the way, there's this paperback, obviously, there's an ebook, and there's the audiobook version. And I do the narration of the audiobook. Then there's my second book, which is Marcus Aurelius Updated 21st Century Meditations on Living Life, which is a collection of 67 essays that I've written about living life. And they cover the whole spectrum of emotions, life principles. There's a chapter on meditation, and there's a chapter on spiritual stuff. There's the paperback and an ebook, and the audiobook version, I'm not sure when it's going to come out, but it will come out eventually, probably guessing in 3 or 4 months, maybe sometime in early 2024. My son, Jesse, who many of you guys know already from my Facebook posts, is a actor and a voice actor. And he's going to do the narration of this book for me. And then there's my third book, which is this one that just came out this year, After the Afterlife. And this is a collection of all of my past life memories that go back about 6,000 years, right? And my daughter Sam did the cover of this book, and she did the cover of this book too. But this book, paperback and ebook, and the audiobook version of this book is going to be done by me. I'm going to narrate it. Since this book is about me, I figured I'll narrate it. And the narration of this book I'm going to do in November. So it should be available certainly in time for Christmas presents, I guess. I'm going to be doing the recording of that audiobook of my third book at my friend Stevie's studio here in Los Angeles. So again, back to Saturday's talk. She wants me to, the librarian there has checked out all my books. And by the way, both libraries have all of my books. If you're local to those, you can take out copies of my books just off of their shelves, their bookshelves. She wants me to talk about all my books in an hour. She wants me to talk about all my books. So, you know, I'll talk a little bit about this and a little bit about that. So, and then we'll, obviously I want to have enough time for questions. So if I'm only there for an hour or so, I'll probably talk for a half an hour and hopefully open it up for, you know, a half an hour of questions for people who show up. And then I'll try to look for your questions here for those of you who are going to be remotely present live to the live stream here on Facebook and also in the chat room in Zoom. So my friend Mark Wilson, thank you, Mark, my classmate from childhood, literally, we grew up since, I don't know, 2nd or 3rd grade or something like that, through high school, played on the basketball team together in high school. Mark was better than I was, but better basketball player. Mark set this up for me at the Barnstable Library because he lives near there now. So Mark is going to be my tech guy, so he should be able to read to me your questions and so forth. That's the point. On Tuesday at the Norwood Library, which is called the Morrow Memorial Library in Norwood, Massachusetts. Those of you who don't know, I grew up in Norwood, Massachusetts. That's where Mark and I grew up. I went to 1st grade, kindergarten through high school in Norwood, Massachusetts. So I'm coming back as a high school alum and as a former resident of Norwood to speak about my books. This is the 3rd talk that I've given a talk each year about, or each time my book has come out, a new book has come out. So they've invited me back, and thus the old homecoming of the former resident of Norwood probably is a draw for a lot of people. So thus the large crowd that's going to show up. So that talk, I'm talking more about the afterlife, which is more of what I talk about in this 3rd book, right? So I'll talk somewhat about my past lives, but I'm also going to talk generally about the afterlife, what happens after we physically, biologically die. Where do we go? What is it like there? What do we do there? Do we run into and reconnect with our dead loved ones and friends and others and so forth? What about soul plans? I'm going to cover a range of stuff that's not in this book, but I'm going to cover some of the stuff that's in this book too. Okay, so that's what's going to happen on Tuesday, October 3rd at 7 p.m. Eastern time at that library. Another thing I wanted to mention to you, upcoming events, is this Saturday. Okay, again, we're talking about September 30th. After I do the Barnstable Library, the Sturgis Library talk, that same afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern time, which is 12 noon Pacific time, and you guys can figure out the time zones depending on where you are on planet Earth. I have my 30th monthly Q&A. So every month I do a Q&A about afterlife questions, any questions that you have about the afterlife. So that's happening on the 30th, which happens to be this September 30th, which happens to be this Saturday, at 3 in the afternoon. So 10:30 in the morning, I'm speaking at the library on Cape Cod. 3 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time, I'm speaking to all of you on Zoom. So that one will be on Zoom, but I'll live stream it here on Facebook too. But for those of you who have already attended previous Afterlife open forum Q&As, by the way, that's a free session, right? Monthly, I do, about any questions that you have about afterlife stuff. If you've already registered for it, you don't have to register again, but you will notice that that's a different Zoom link than the one that I'm going to use for these two library talks. The two library talks Zoom link is the same Zoom link that I use for my meditation classes. Okay. So those of you who have already taken those classes, you know what I'm talking about. Now, so that's Saturday. And then the other thing I wanted to mention to you guys is I have a 6-part Afterlife series that's different from this open forum Q&A that I do every month. The 6-part Afterlife series I do every other Sunday. So it's over a 12-week period, but it's 6 sessions every other Sunday. Next one is starting January 7th, 2024, in about, 3-4 months from now. January 7th, my birthday. We're starting another 6-part series. And I get into much deeper dive about all of these topics that we cover about the afterlife. And if you want to watch a preview of that, go to kelvinchin.org and then look for the page that says Afterlife Series. And there's a couple of preview videos there, 20 minutes long or so, where I describe what I'm going to talk about in this 6-part series. And this coming January in 2024, I think it's the 17th time that I'm doing, it'll be the 17th time that I'm doing that 6-part Afterlife series. And some of you, I know, have taken that class multiple times, and some of you, there's a half a dozen, 6 or 8 of you, have taken it 16 times already, and you're going to take it the 17th time again. And you guys can attest to the fact that I bring up new information sometimes during the series, because new stuff pops in, right? New issues come up. People will ask me questions that are different in each time I do the series. So different issues will come up. So it's valuable to watch again. Now, those of you who can't make all of the 6 sessions, no big deal, because I record them and I send everybody who's registered for it the link. So that's not open to the public. That particular one is not going to be Facebook Live, the one starting in January. It's closed just to my registrants, the people who register for it. I turn nobody away for financial reasons for any of my classes. That includes my Afterlife series, and that includes my meditation classes. If people are strapped for money, people will make a donation of whatever amount, or they pay over time, or if somebody is really, really financially stressed, then they'll talk to me privately, and then I may teach them for free. So that leads me to the last thing I want to mention is my Turning Within meditation classes. You guys know that I've been teaching meditation for 50 years now, over 50 years now. I've been meditating for 52 years. And I've taught thousands of people around the world, the US Army in Korea, all the Army bases in Korea, the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea, the first courses at West Point Military Academy. I've taught in Europe, taught in all Asia, throughout the United States, Canada, etc. I teach a group class. By the way, group classes are small, 5 to 6 people max in a group class, because I want to have everybody get enough attention and be able to ask any questions that they have. My September class has already happened. My October 13th class is full already has a wait list. And the next classes I am booking right now is November 10th. I think I have 2 seats left in my November 10th class, or maybe I have 4 seats left in my November 10th class, but I think I only have 2 or 3 seats left in my December 8th class. So bottom line is, you need to register sooner rather than later if you want to take my meditation classes. November 10th or December 8th are the ones I have open seats available still. And you don't have to pay the whole fee. You just pay some small amount, just so it's a good faith sign that I know you're serious and I hold the spot for you. If people want to take the class sooner, they can take the class privately all the way through. I charge a little bit more for that. You can check that out, any of this stuff out on my turningwithin.org website. So the website for my meditation is called Turning Within, and it's .org because this is all done through my nonprofits. ORG, if you don't know that, those are nonprofit websites, turningwithin.org. So you can check out the calendar there, the schedule. You go to the register page on that website, and it has all the details of the classes and how the class is structured and how many seats are left in which class and that kind of thing. And then you can get in touch with me. Of course, you can always get in touch with me, Facebook message, you can private message me, or you can email me, or you can go on any of my websites and send me an email through the contact page of any of my websites if you're not on Facebook. Okay, I'm also on Instagram. My Instagram name is kelvin.h.chin. That's my Instagram handle. It's also my handle on Threads. Those of you know what Threads is, it's a new platform that's out, new social media platform that's out there. If you're on LinkedIn, it's just Kelvin Chin. I grabbed that one before all the 20 and 30-year-old Chinese kids who also are named Chinese kids who are also named Kelvin Chin grabbed the LinkedIn one. I grabbed before they did. So it's just, my LinkedIn name is, my handle is Kelvin Chin. If you put that in your URL and LinkedIn. So great to have everybody on today. Thanks for joining us. I'm curious, does anybody have any questions? Any questions, anything? Hi, Sharon, good to see you. Crystal, Cayman. Yeah, Cayman, there is a 20-second delay between Zoom and Facebook because Zoom is the platform that this is going through first, and it's linked to Facebook, so there's a 20-second delay. So that's normal. Hey, Georgia, good to see you here. Lorraine, Cy, George, good to see George all the time. Thanks for your feedback on this, Lorraine. Really appreciate it on the Facebook Live. Thank you so much. Any questions, anything you want to post or comments or anything like that on the Facebook Live, which I can look at right now, or I can go back to the Zoom. And if you have a chat, anybody has a chat question, you can put something in the chat box there. Why don't somebody, Cayman, why don't you, or George, why don't you type something in the chat? Cayman, why don't you type something in the chat box just so I can make sure that it works? This is, as I said at the outset of this is kind of a test run for me because I've never done Zoom and Facebook Live exactly at the same time before. And I wanted to do this for both of my events this Saturday, the library talk and the Afterlife open forum Q&A, my 30th monthly thing, and the Tuesday library talk. So I'm not seeing, okay, George. Okay, there goes George. Thank you, George. Got the chat. Okay, good. It works on Zoom. Awesome, everybody. Really appreciate those of you coming on to help me. George says, do you ever take a vacation? Twice or more a day, I'm closing my eyes and meditating. Does that count? Some more times than twice a day because I meditate with my students frequently. So anyway, great to see everybody. Thank you so much for being on here. Again, if you want to get in touch with me, kelvinchin.org. You want to check out anything about my meditation classes or the Afterlife series or the 30th monthly thing that I do every month, the open forum, the free open forum Q&A. To register for that, you'll want to go to kelvinchin.org again, because that's a different Zoom link from what I will share with some folks, before next week. Okay, good. See everybody soon. Hopefully, stay healthy. See you guys. Thanks so much.